Well. Look who came crawling back to do a daily vlog. Yeah, I'm talking about myself. Um, I give props to anyone out there that could literally do these daily. Cause man, is it difficult? um, look, bottom line, no excuses. I get busy, but I mean, what does it take to do a 10-minute sit down and talk video with you guys? But I'm sorry, just things come up and just mentally draining things and just work related things. Yeah, it's really hard, but it's a learning curve. It's a learning progress. Um, Woke up today and the plan was to go to Universal Studios in the morning to do a really quick update video because I do have work later today. So plan was theme park, then go to work. Um, I woke up and I was just like, oh, I'm so tired. But no excuses. I should have been there. But no excuse to do this today for that matter. But you know, Universal Studios, man. Woo! Is that park? Is that park on fire? That park is on fire. Literal fire. In a good way. In a good way. It's not a dumpster fire. It's great. It's a great fire of entertainment, man. Wearing the Back to the Future hat. Specific reason. FanFest nights. That's what I'm going to talk about today. And just the comparison, to what we've experienced with After Hours events. And I just want to say, a breath of fresh air, finally, just to something new, something we haven't gotten used to, seen before, and this is great. Universal came in hot, man, with the entertainment value of FanFest nights. But let's dive into the price first, because I believe FanFest nights is, when these tickets first released, we were speculating that, okay, After Hours event, the only thing we could logistically compare it to is Horror Nights or, a Disney After Hours event. And, if you think about it, Horror Nights from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. only charges you at a base price of around $80 to maybe $105 for a very busy day, peak day, which is kind of crazy good. And then you got, Disneyland charging $180 for Star Wars night. That's what I'm going to compare it to. But but obviously if you're paying that base price of $80 for Horror Nights, you're waiting in lines for a majority of the night. You could vibe in the scare zones, not that many, but you are waiting a while in lines. And when those FanFest night tickets drop, I speculated roughly around, it had to be around the 100 range, right? $120 range, just due to the fact that they were going to take you to, Back to the Future is going to be included, and they were going to take you to Hill Valley. Because I think we got that information before the tickets dropped, and I thought, well, man, if that's the case, then I'm pretty sure these tickets got to cost a lot because they're taking us to the backlog, Cost damn near $600, $400 to do the VIP experience per person. So tickets dropped, bro, $79. Are you kidding me? FanFest nights cost $79, and you're letting me stay in the park till 2 a.m. from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. We got something good in our hands right now. We don't want to give Universal any ideas to up the price, but people with the videos out and everything, people are saying they would have paid way more money just to be in Hill Valley. And I don't know. Universal was, what was your way of thinking as to, wow, this $80 price? Very grateful, very grateful. I'm not gonna take this for granted. And you just shout out to Universal. That's all we're just gonna say and leave it there. But if you guys are watching this video, then I'm assuming you've probably already seen my FanFest Nights video, and you could just see grin to grin, joy in my face of, stepping on that grass at Courthouse Square. Woo! Man, what a time. What a time to be alive for a theme park fan, I said in my video that that was true theme park entertainment at its peak, at its finest. Right next to that, it's Ghost Town Alive. Over in Knott's Berry Farm. That's the same level of energy we get for FanFest nights, and the only reason why FanFest nights just ups Ghost Town Alive is the setting that the Back to the Future was at. Not overall picture, but the setting we were in for Hill Valley. It's just history. That's all it is. The set could be the same for Ghost Town Alive because taking place in Calico, and literally it's one of America's oldest theme parks. I believe Knott's is like 4 years old. Ballpark range. But man, FanFest, that's Back to the Future, A+. I didn't really have too many complaints with the Destination Hill Valley segment. The only thing I'd wish they would do is maybe turn down that 50s vibe music that they got playing on in the loop. If they could just turn that down during like the key moments of what they're trying to play out, that'll be great. Because it was kind of funny just hearing Mambo Italiano playing in the background when Marty was trying to explain to Doc that he was from the future. That was just kind of weird, but yeah, if they could just turn down that music just a little bit, that'll be great. But man, were they spot on about casting these characters? George McFly, Marty McFly, Biff, Lorraine, and even the supporting roles for Destination Hill Valley. We had Best Friend T-Bone, which we learned his nickname was. What a character! He's really fun. Then we got Mayor Goldie Wilson, not principal yet, Mr. Strickland, and just some other characters along the way that you can just kind of run into at the Back to the Future set. But bam, what a home run that was. For the rest of the park, it was good. Overall, great, man. Even if you weren't the biggest fans of these things, that's what I kept hearing. That people, even though they weren't the biggest fans of Dungeons and Dragons and Star Trek, they still genuinely had a really good time stepping into the Star Trek experience. Was interesting for sure. You really gotta dive yourself into these experiences. Like if you're not a fan, you really gotta get yourself into it and feel the moments. And for me, easy to immerse yourselves. But with the only complaint about the Star Trek experience is the minute you look up at the ceiling, you can clearly see that it's a sound stage, and the sets are in front of you, but it takes you off for the moment. But nonetheless, the actors in there. God, hold on, really quick. Gotta talk about the makeup artist for FanFest nights for the Dungeons and Dragons and Star Trek experiences. God, shout out to you guys. The makeup was on point for those characters. I don't know my characters in Star Trek. Aliens that were in there were really spot on. Live long and prosper. Yeah, the Star Trek experience was cool. Would have been cool if the stakes were a little bit higher, but I don't know. That's just me. Maybe the true Star Trek fan could have saw this as the perfect experience. Not too sure. I haven't talked to one yet. Gonna talk to one soon. My dad is actually a big Trekkie, so once he experiences this, so I'll finally get to get a real perspective of how this experience was to him. But what was funny was when we did our walkthrough that night, and in the video I said that I was really getting into the suspense of things, and then what really took me out was just across the way there was a grown man and a grown man dressed as Wario from Super Mario, and his son dressed as Mario, which is cute, but it's just when I first saw that I was like, this is kind of funny. It's like wrong movie. We're in the wrong area. So that's the only thing too. When people are cosplayed, obviously for the in the wrong experiences, it could probably take you out just a little bit, but I found that hilarious. Just Wario in Star Trek. Come on, come on. Can't blame me. Oh man. But moving on to Dungeons and Dragons. It was cool. Again, not the biggest fan. Rachel, on the other hand, not the biggest fan either, but very familiar with the game and movie and all that stuff. So she had a blast, going in there and enjoying all the role playing scenes that were happening, going on in front of them. The only thing is, I noticed that walking up to Dungeons and Dragons, they had a long line for I'm talking about Horror Night Switchback lines for this attraction. And here's a pro tip for y'all: if Universal ever drops, whenever Universal drops like these after hours events, always go on the first night. Find out when media night is. Damn sure, I guarantee you, best night to go. I mean, yeah, day one could always have some mishaps here or there, but if you want low crowds, this is what I'm getting at. If you want low crowds, you always go on the first night. No matter even if you buy your ticket and it says the event is sold out, don't believe that the event's gonna be busy, because Universal caps it for a reason, because of their media, and they always want people to, they want their media to enjoy a less busy night. So again, that night was opening night, media night, and though I wasn't media, but I just know these kind of things. Everything was like a 5-10 minute wait, and waited literally for nothing. So getting back to my point about those switchbacks, yeah, those are scary to see, because it brought back trauma for Horror Night lines, and I could only imagine if those lines are full, how much it will affect the experience for someone going into Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know, like, it was a great experience, believe me, but if I waited like an hour or so for Dungeons, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it. Same goes for Star Trek. I don't know. So should you get Express? Probably not. Save yourself a lot of money. Just do the early entry, because those two attractions are part of the early entry, which is only going to cost you $20. If you got $20 to spare, it'll go a long way for your night. Trust me. So, but the love and care Universal had for these experiences, you could really tell, it's the first time doing something like this. I mean, they do Horror Nights all the time, so freaking Hollywood, they got amazing set designers and production designers and whatnot. So putting together something like this is not their first rodeo, but nonetheless, man, that Xanathar Jim Henson puppet does no justice looking at it from a video. You will have to see it in person, how big, massive this shit is, man. It's wild. It's crazy. It's literally crazy. All these experiences, by the way, are like maybe a 10-minute walkthrough experience, which is cool. You get to see everything play out in front of you. Do wish there was a little more character to guest interactivity, but not so much from the Star Trek point of view. You're watching a movie play out, essentially. Dungeons and Dragons had some of that interactivity with the guests. If you're LARPing for the specific experience, do yourself a favor. Try to make yourself stand out so they could really interact with you. I could tell that they want to interact with those who are dressed up for the role in that experience. But that's really good to see. But the only thing I would wish that came out of those two attractions was just a little bit more guest interactivity. Not obviously we can't do the same value as what we got in Back to the Future, but it'll be cool. At the same time, they got to get people through the lines, and if that whole switchback queue is full, man, that's rough. We'll have to see though. I'm keeping my eye close to the Universal app to see what these wait times look like, and for those who have the Ultimate Fandom Pass, if they're going to be attending every other weekend and whatnot, see if those lines really do get full, because I don't think people had an idea of what FanFest Night was until videos and pictures started dropping social media. It's really hard to market what this experience kind of was, just because you know, you're kind of, it's live action role play. Like, you can't tell someone, oh, FanFest Nights is about, you know, character interactions. Well, what do you mean character interactions in a small space? Like, it's hard to explain what the Star Trek experience was, because if I tell someone, yeah, you're just kind of just walking through a set and watching everything happen in front of you, it's kind of weird to say. Not to say, you know, you should spoil someone with a video or a picture, but, you know, at this point, I think everybody knows what FanFest Nights is about. Aside from that, other character interactions, we had the freaking One Piece fan zone. Bonkers. That area was crazy. The fans really came out for that area, and I'm happy to see that, because I'm finally happy that Universal is introducing anime to the US parks. I keep saying that over and over again, because God, we need it. It's literally untapped territory, untapped gold, and finally scratching the surface. They're finally seeing potential this has, man. So One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen. I wish JJK had characters. Oh my God, you don't have no idea how long those lines would have been. I would have waited to meet freaking Sukuna or Gojo and all them characters, man. Oh my God. But those were a success. I thought I was going to see a lot more complaints online due to the fact that the JJK experience or movie was in Japanese with English subtitles. Personally, didn't mind it. I'm sure those people on the day one didn't mind it either. But, you know, obviously anime is not for anyone, so I'm assuming anyone attending that DreamWorks Theater show is pretty hardcore with their anime. So, you know, it's great to see that they kept it in the original format, which is a nice touch. Other than that, it should have been a 3D experience. Don't know why it wasn't. Don't know why we couldn't just do 3D, but not an expert in that. Man, FanFest, man. I am definitely gonna go back another 2 times. I didn't get the Phantom Pass because I felt like this experience was more of a 2 to 3 night experience for me. But I don't know. I'm slowly regretting. With my schedule, I think 2 to 3 times is a good run. Gonna go on the last night for sure, and I think I'm going on May 16th again. Yeah, if I can squeeze in one more trip, I can, but we'll see. Let me know if you guys attended FanFest Nights, if you plan on attending, if you have any regrets on not buying tickets. I mean, the event's not over yet. You still have time. I'm sad that it's only a month though. Like, it's kind of crazy that they spent a lot of time and energy and money for that matter. You could tell they spent a lot of money for this event. Only running from April 25th through May 18th on Friday through Saturdays only, which is kind of wild. I'm really hoping this could, hopefully next year, if it comes back next year, this could be a 2-month event. You know, I think obviously testing the waters here, getting their feet wet and everything. So they're just trying to grasp what the audience likes and what they could expand for next year. I got a couple wish lists real quick for FanFest Nights next year if it comes. Pokemon, Jurassic Park, and Demon Slayer. Please, Universal, please. I would love to see that. Or Attack on Titan. That would be cool too. But that being said, guys, thank you all for watching. Comment down below. You'll catch this tall guy at the next vlog, video, theme park. Speaking of theme parks, by the way, I think I'll be back to a park sometime this week. We'll see. Halfway to Halloween Festival this Friday, though. So see you there. Bye-bye.